While blue is one of the most popular colors, it is one of the least appetizing. Blue food is rare in nature. Food researchers say that when humans searched for food, they learned to avoid toxic or spoiled objects, which were often blue, black, or purple. When food dyed blue is served to study subjects, they lose appetite. People with generally sensitive skin have local reactions to chemicals, dyes, and fragrances present in products that come into contact with their skin. They may also get rashes or irritation from clothing or friction. Some people are allergic to certain substances and may react on their skin. Time management is not that difficult, but it does require advanced thinking and staying on top of tasks that are coming up. Whether the upcoming task is imminent or in the future, it should be recorded. Whether it is recorded on a tech device or paper notepad, the need is the same. Concentration is an expression of how much solute is dissolved in a solvent in a chemical solution. There are multiple units of concentration. Which unit you use depends on how you intend to use the chemical solution. The most common units are mass percent, volume percent, and mole fraction. Visual images always have a strong appeal compared to words. Using projectors and visuals to aid in learning is another form of great technological use. Top institutions around the world now rely on the use of amazing PowerPoint presentations and projections in order to keep learning interactive and interesting. Today, most American citizens over the age of 18 are entitled to vote in federal and state elections, but voting was not always a right for all Americans. Because the Constitution did not specifically say who could vote, this question was largely left to the states in the 1800s. Before a heart disease diagnosis is made, your healthcare provider will gather a full medical history and perform a physical exam. If your doctor suspects heart disease, blood tests will be ordered to check your cholesterol levels, as well as look for proteins that could signal heart failure or plaque in your arteries. Environmental damage does not affect all people equally. For this reason, some people may feel anxiety around ecological issues more intensely. Some parts of the world are more vulnerable to the effects of extreme weather, including coastal communities and low-lying areas. In addition to the street food industry, many high-end restaurants and cafes are also bringing in plant-based meat options. These food products now make up the main menu instead of being treated as a sloppy second option. This transition has come about due to the high quality and taste of these items. Eating a handful of almonds a day significantly increases the production of butyrate, a short-chain fatty acid that promotes gut health. Whole almond eaters had an additional 1.5 bowel movements per week compared to the other groups. Eating almonds could also benefit those with constipation. To forgive an injury is often considered to be a sign of weakness. It is really a sign of strength. It is easy to allow oneself to be carried away by resentment and hate into an act of vengeance, but it takes a strong character to restrain those natural passions. Quantum is the theory we had to have. During the 19th century, many advances were made in physics, but by the end of the century, it was backing itself into a corner. It would take a radical change in thinking to explain many of the paradoxes that had arisen, and quantum was the uneasy solution. A group of business, education and government leaders has launched an initiative to grow the state's pool of tech workers. Soon's Health CEO Mike Castling, who chairs the newly formed Nebraska Tech Collaborative, says the state is losing jobs at an alarming rate. Another method governments use to try and influence the private sector is economic planning. For a long time now, socialist and communist states have used planning as an alternative to the price mechanism, organizing production and distributing their resources according to social and strategic needs. Every morning, no matter how late he had been up, my father rose at 5:30, went to his study, wrote for a couple of hours, made us all breakfast, read the paper with my mother, and then went back to work for the rest of the morning. Many years passed before I realized that he did this for a living. Tourism is a challenging sector on which divide statistics, since businesses serving tourists also service local people. Therefore, it is not straightforward to estimate how much business sector's revenues and how many jobs are due to tourist expenditures. Tourism is a challenging sector on which divide statistics since businesses serving tourists also service local people. Therefore, it is not straightforward to estimate how much business sector's revenues and how many jobs are due to tourist expenditures. Do patents help or hinder innovation? Instinctively, they would seem a blessing, especially for backroom tinkerers. Patenting an idea gives its inventor a 20-year monopoly to exploit the fruit of his labor in the marketplace, in exchange for publishing a full account of how the new product, process or material works for all and sundry to see. Sportsmanship can be conceptualized as an enduring and relatively stable characteristic or disposition such that individuals differing the way they are generally expected to behave in sports situations. In general, sportsmanship refers to virtues such as fairness, self-control, courage, and persistence, and has been associated with interpersonal and respect for both authority and opponents. Pluto lost its official status as a planet yesterday, when the International Astronomical Union downsized the solar system from 9 to 8 planets. Although there had been a passionate debate at the IAU General Assembly meeting in Prague about the definition of a planet, and whether Pluto met the specifications, the audience greeted the decision to exclude it with applause.